Okay, modelers, so today we're going to have a bit of an inbox review of this little tank here, the little German command tank, 35th scale from Academy. I got this one as a prize. I won a category in a competition I went in, and this came as a prize, so I was quite rapt with that. I haven't actually been through this kit yet, guys, so it's going to be a surprise for me as well as we go through it and see what's in the box. It looks like there's only one colour scheme on this. I haven't read anything about the actual tank itself, so that'll all be in the instructions if you want to learn more about this actual vehicle, but we'll just do a little bit of a review now on the actual kit itself. As you see, some quite nice box art there, and inside straight away we have our instructions as per usual. What I might do, guys, I'll bring this camera back up a little bit so that you can see a bit more of the instructions. Okay, on the first page here, there's not much on that first page there, just your little icons to tell you different things as you go through to be aware of. Then we go straight into the build. So first thing we're doing is our hull here, putting our hull together. Obviously goes together in a few different pieces. I'll just turn this other light on, hopefully it'll help a little bit. That might be a little bit better. Then we're starting to put our running gear on there, our wheels and so on. They go together obviously in a few little pieces you can see off to the side here. Fairly standard stuff for doing armour. Our cogs up the front here, our running cogs, our drive sprockets or whatever you want to call them. They go together in what's it, 4 pieces there. Then they go onto the suspension, which then obviously gets attached to the tank. Now the instructions are one of those fold out jobs, so we'll just turn it over to this page, move it over so you can see it a little bit, and there's all the like we're saying, all the pieces that go on to the running gear and so on. So it looks like it's fairly straightforward for doing armour. Like they just hopefully if there's no fit issues, should be very straightforward doing the base. It looks like we have individual running like our tracks here. Unless they're like a solid piece there and there, and then you've got the individuals, but we'll have a look at that as we go through. When we go through the parts, okay, next page here, the top part just goes on the top of your hull, so that's obviously one solid piece, gets dropped down onto there. Then we've got our guards going over the top. We've even got a figure in here by the look of it. I hope I do a little bit better painting it than that. That's a little bit rough actually, looking at that. But then we start putting on our hatches, machine guns, all the little bits and pieces that go onto the outside of our tank. Then some tools, fire extinguisher, exhaust jack, all that sort of thing there. Then we're doing our turret on this page here, so it goes together. It looks like it's one solid piece. You've got a hatch on the front, and then you've got your mantle for your main gun on the front that sort of make it all up. And then you obviously the base as well, you can see going up underneath there. That's fairly standard for most armour. This is probably the part I'd be most worried about is, as you can see here, this little bit of a, well, I guess like a shade or a little bit of a rack that goes over the top of it. If that stuff doesn't fit properly, you're going to have some fun with that. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into it, but I dare say you'll be able to get etch sets and stuff for this as well, guys, which, I don't know, we'll see how these go together. It may be worth actually doing that, or you could even leave it off, I guess, if you wanted to. Back page there is just our sprue call outs, and that's it for the instructions. And over to the side here, these are our markings. So we've got 2 versions here, both very, very similar. Yeah, I mean it'd be a toss-up which one you want to go with. I mean they're both fairly similar. The one with the nice big cross on it's not too bad, but then you've got this guy here. I prefer that German cross with the you know, the separate white lines and that. So it's probably the one I may do. A few little extras there on adding decals and things like that. Okay, for our parts, I'll quickly cut this bag open. Unlike Tamiya, these ones have to be cut open. They haven't got staplers, so just bear with me while I get this open, guys. Probably should have a brand new blade in this to be doing this, but this will do the job. Okay, first sprue here. We have, these are this is the rack I was talking about, and it's very, very fine, and there is holes there to guide your uprights into. They're very, very fine, so you'd be very careful with those when you're doing those. And I'm not sure if they have to sit at angles, or I'm not sure, but I'd probably put those in, and then while it's still soft, the glue, then I'd sort of line them up with where it goes onto the tank itself, so you've got a little bit of play to move them around. But they are very, very fine. That should look really nice when it's done. Can't see any flash on there, but these are attached in so many places. You'll have to be careful cutting them off the sprue there. They really are attached in a lot of places, so that's a little bit strange for something so delicate. Then we've got that turret here, and just looking at the detail on that's very, very nice. You can see a bit of oil residue on that. I don't always wash my stuff, guys. I know a lot of people still do that, where they wash their kits before they start building because of the release agent that's on these parts, but I find I've handled them that much by the time I go to paint them, and I normally give them a wipe down with some alcohol or something, so normally all that release agent's well and truly gone by the time I get to that stage anyway. But looking at the rivet detail is really nice. So you've got the raised rivets, and then you've got the sunken rivets, or whatever they are, inside there. They might be bolt heads or screws, recessed screws, I'm not sure, but they yeah, they're recessed in there. And just forgive my nails, guys, I've been playing with paints and all sorts of things today, so a little bit messy in my hands. And again, really nice detail in this as well. Again, can't see any flashing. I'm looking at the gun barrel here with all the little it's got all the little holes drilled in the end there, which is nice, and it's hollowed out, which is very, very good. A lot of times you get something that size and it's not actually drilled out in the end of the barrel, but that one actually is. Here's our figure here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 heads there. So yep, you've got a choice of what you want to do. One of them looks like he's yelling, another one looks like he's sort of half gritting his teeth. So different poses on his face, which is a nice little offer there. Just looking at the rest of it, the hatch there looks really nice. I can see a funny, oh no, it's just a fault in the plastic, but it's not actually raised or sunken, so that'd be fine. And there's the base for our turret, and all the little details are nice. Again, all those sunken rivets in there, really, really nice. Very nice detail in that. Okay, just open another bag here. Not as much drama opening that one, which is good. And here's the top of our tub. A little bit of scratching's going on there where it's been rubbing on parts. It was in the same bag as this, so it's been rubbing on something, but it's alright. It's not that severe. It'll clean up quite nice. Again, beautiful rivet detail. Our back plates on here with the grab handle and the screws. Really, really nice. Actually, a couple of those would have been a little bit squashed and deformed there too, but they're not that bad. Just have to give them a quick sand. I think they should be right. Like a really light sandpaper should knock off that flattened part on there. But yeah, quite nice that. And here's the base of our tub underneath. So if you want to have this thing on its lid, you can do that too, because all the details underneath her. Sides here, a lot of this will be buried obviously underneath the running gear and the guards. You won't see a lot of that, but the details all there. The beautiful rivet detail and everything's all in there. And this one here is either must be the front plate. It goes over the front or the back, one of the two. But again, just looking at the rivet details, really, really nice. The hinges and the gap around where the doors are there, the access doors, is really well done. It's just a little bit raised compared to the rest of the body, but the really fine engraving around it looks really nice. It really looks like you could pop that open. Very nice. Academy is one of those ones, some people don't like them, they think they're like a cheap, nasty kit, but they really aren't. They do some really nice stuff. I do like my Academy stuff. Here's our decals. There's a little bit of photo etch in there as well. I'm not sure what they are, but obviously when I go through the build we'll work that out. But looking at the decals in there, they're not raised, and there's just a little tiny thin little bit of decal film around the outside, and it's so slight you'd never ever cut it out. It's just that fine. So that looks quite nice, and we even got our stripes here for our commander, depending on what rank you want to have him at. But they look quite sufficient. But decals are one of those things, it's sort of hard to judge. They look nice, and then sometimes when you go to use them, they're not as nice as you imagine they should be. But we'll see that when we go through the build. And that's our little bit of string, obviously, for our tow rope there that just fell out of there. Now this one's got a lot of the tools and lots of little bits and pieces that go on the outside, exhaust system and so on. There's our two guards and some really nice detail on those too, guys. Really nice. Lots of rivets. Like the little stripes you can see across there, raised, but they're not raised too high. They're not sort of protruding too much. They're actually really nicely done. So this should go together as a really nice little kit. It's not big, thick, ugly, and it's not sort of too over-engineered by the look of it. It looks like it's quite well planned out. So it'll be interesting to see what this one builds up to. And looking at some of the fine pieces, if you look down here, there's obviously a mirror or something in here. That's very, very fine. It's attached in two places. You have to be very careful knocking that out of there. Same down here, the light housings, attached in two places, and they're very, very fine. So just take your time just taking those off there. But again, there's no flashing. I can't see any ejector pin marks that are anywhere going to be seen. So like everything's sort of stuck up underneath there where you're not going to see it anyway. This one here's got an instruction actually written underneath that says up there with an arrow, so you can't get that one wrong. But that was really nice actually, guys. Very nice indeed. And here's our tracks, and yeah, like I was saying there, I wasn't sure, but there's two sections. One with the sag for the going over the rollers at the top, and one for along the bottom. Then the rest are individual that go around the dry sprockets and so on. So that'll be some fun putting those together. And our running gear, won't worry about taking this out of the packet, guys. It's very, very straightforward. All your road wheels, and there is a seam that runs around them, which you expect that on most armour these days. There is going to be a seam you'll have to clean up. Looking at injector pin marks are all on this side, on the inside, so they'll be buried. You won't see them. Suspension here. Looking there, because sometimes you get suspension, they've moulded it so the seam runs up this part. This one isn't. It's actually running up along that way, so that'll actually make it much easier to clean up. And it looks like they're mounted on a plate anyway, so you only have to take off where you cut it off the sprue, so it should be quite nice. All our suspension there again looks really nice. There is injector pin marks, but it looks like they go to the inside, so they shouldn't be a problem. And there's the head off our tow cable. Machine guns here, got that really nice ribbing around the machine guns, very, very nice indeed. Looking at where the teeth on these dry sprockets are connected could be a bit of an issue though. They're connected on 3 on either side, and it's where the actual points are. So it's one of them ones, cut it away from the actual part itself, and then sort of file it or sand it down to get your points back to where they should be. Same on these ones here, 3 on either side, so that might be a little bit of well, not so much of an issue, just a little bit of work to make sure you don't damage any of them sprockets. And looking at the bolts inside there, again really nice. You've got your 3 main ones running up there, and then the little fellas all the way around the outside, and they're really, really fine, very, very fine detail. So anyway guys, that's about it. It's a very simple sort of kit compared to say like a Dragon or something like that. But simple doesn't mean it's a bad kit, it just means it's a bit easier to put together. So it's something I definitely recommend for people who are fairly new to the building and that. Try and stick with Academy and Tamiya and stuff like that. They're normally a little bit simpler. Tamiya obviously is the head honcho, like their stuff is not over-engineered and it normally goes together beautifully. Academy, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a really nice build out of it, but then again every now and then you get an Academy where you'll have a few little fit issues. But this is one we'll have to see, guys, as we go through the build to see if there is going to be any issues. Hopefully not. But anyway guys, that's the end of this review. Like always, if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up down there. Sub to the channel if you haven't subbed, please guys, and check out all my links down there as well. And like always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.